safe from hacker attacks. They speed up, and along the way, Zhang Yi gets annoyed with the otaku's conversation about a girl from the village who's in love with him, but doesn't have the courage to confess to him. Should he do it for her? To change the subject, Zhang Yi asks what the people in the village think about him cooperating with the enemy. Chun doesn't know how to respond. The situation isn't good. The protagonist clearly knows that his people don't like him having contact with those who killed half of their population, but he doesn't say anything about it. After a while, they finally meet the third member of the trio, Uncle Yu, who arrives on his snowmobile, saying it's been a long time since he's seen his nephew. He shows how healthy he is. His uncle exercises with his wife every day. Zhang Yi introduces the two who haven't met yet and tells them about each other's abilities. One of them is super strong and regenerates. The other can control snow in various ways. At first, the atmosphere is strange. A former army veteran, a recluse otaku, and a cheeky teenager who is our protagonist. This group would never have met in the normal world, but now they're going to work together on a rescue mission. Uncle asks what their mission is. Calling 3 awakened ones means it must be something very complex. Zhang Yi replies that it's not. It's just a simple rescue. The only complication is that there might be a fierce monster in the region where they're going now. The chubby one gets very scared and asks what kind of monster they'll face. So Zhang Yi affirms that just as they turned into mutants with powers, animals may have also turned into mutants. He doesn't know what this creature is like. Maybe they're humans in the form of monsters, or monsters in the form of humans. Uncle Yu says if Zhang Yi says they can, then they can. He agrees and says that with the 3 of them together, nothing can stop them. After taking the ice road and driving, we see the old location of Tianqing Academy. Soon, we see the situation of the survivors from the academy. They're trapped in a gymnasium. Other students revolt against Shinshin and ask, after so many died, how did she, being wheelchair-bound, manage to survive? She who is dragging others to death is a burden. They shout because they need to protect a disabled person. Others only wonder how they can live longer, while others mourn the deaths of those who have already passed away. One of the students noticed that Shinshin didn't show sadness or remorse for those who died, and points to her asking why she's still alive. The teacher shouldn't be helping her. She's dead weight. Some students discuss whether they should sacrifice her the next time the monster attacks. The bespectacled student agrees, saying they've already protected her enough. The other student ends the discussion, saying that's not the issue. The teacher doesn't leave anyone behind, so there's no point in discussing it. She's the one who protects them. Then, one of the students goes to Shinshin, who is far away from them. The girl approaches and coldly tells Shinshin that she should go to hell alone if the teacher won't let her go. Everyone shouldn't have the burden of carrying her. Crying, she doesn't respond. All the students behind her agree and shout from afar that she really should do it. The only person against it is her best friend, who steps forward, saying she has nothing to do with it. No one helped her. She was the only one who carried her friend around. The rich girl's argument is that she shouldn't speak up or say anything because she's rich, and the girl in front of her is just a poor person who got into college on a scholarship. Her friend says that everyone is equal and has the same rights. However, the arrogant girl argues that no, they will never be equal. She is richer and more powerful. She is more important. Shinshin only has any value because she comes from a highly rich and influential family, even though she is wheelchair bound. Now her position should be revoked because she is a burden to everyone. Finally, the critical girl says that she only defends the girl because she is rich and hopes that when this is over, she will have some reward for supporting this wheelchair bound person so much. Upon hearing all this argument, Shinshin cries. After so much hatred, one of the girls leaves the crowd, walks among them, and goes to Shinshin and says they should be friends too. This girl only thought about the advantages she could have after the apocalypse. Everyone's discussion is interrupted when a window falls in the gymnasium. Suddenly, a giant paw appears through the window and grabs one of the people and drags them out of the window. It's so big that it can fit the person's entire body in its paw. The monster is a giant cat, licking its prey. It manages to fit it entirely into its mouth. Everyone screams from inside the gym, seeing this gruesome scene as they run quickly. Shinshin and her friend are left behind because of the wheelchair. They go to the door trying, but it's locked. The cat breaks the window and jumps inside with its prey still in its mouth, only half of it in front of everyone. It takes it out and finishes eating only the head and discards the body. It jumps in front of the other students as if it's intimidating them all. One of the students goes to Shinshin and pushes her forward, causing her to fall defenseless in front of the cat. Her friend, scared, wonders if she should save her. Shinshin, in front of the giant feline, is about to be the next to die. One of the students, noticing that the cat was distracted, tries to run out of the gym next to it. The cat, noticing the movement, changes its focus from Shinshin and crushes its prey on the ground. They try to crawl back, asking for help. The cat turns its attention to the other students. Then, her friend goes after her, trying to help her. The students behind say that the cat seems to like objects that are in motion. Shinshin seemed dead on the ground, so it ignored her. The same student shouts, "The cat is distracted now. Everyone run to the exit." They look back. The first hit student is lying on the ground, asking for help. They only say that for some to survive. Others have to be sacrificed. As they run, the injured student remains motionless and says that if it depends on him, everyone will die with him. The cat turns its attention to the other students who are running and begins to crush other people. While the cat only played with its prey in its paws, its tail also managed to crush some students. One student screams in despair for help. Luckily for everyone, their teacher returns to the gym door. her. This is enough to get the cat's attention. That sword she feels is dangerous. The teacher tries to attack the cat, and it simply runs away. The cat knows the teacher is different and dangerous. So, the feline simply grabs one of the fallen prey and runs away. The teacher on guard duty goes to the exit and realizes that the cat really left, leaving giant tracks in the snow. It seems that the creature couldn't defeat the teacher, so something isn't normal about her. If she stayed here all the time, there would be no risk of attack, but she has to leave the gym to get food for them. And when this happens, the mutant cat attacks the gym. Among the victims and the wounded, the student who was previously arguing with Shinshin complains again. Why didn't this wheelchair-bound girl die in the attack? Every time this wheelchair-bound girl survives. How is that possible? A boy intervenes, saying it's okay. The teacher brought food. The cat left. He tries to give food to Shinshin, but the girl steps in, saying no. She doesn't deserve it. She's just dead weight. The teacher, tired of so much fighting and having to go outside to get food for everyone, doesn't interfere. She says that as long as they don't kill each other, she doesn't need to do anything. Let them fight. She needs to rest. Another girl, in despair, shouts, saying the world has ended. Why do they have to fight? There's no hope anymore. Everyone will die equally. Another student says no. He can save everyone. His father is an important leader of a very powerful company. Surely he will come to save them. Meanwhile, the protagonist arrived with his partners near the rescue site. Looking around, everything is covered in snow. How will they find the exact location of the academy? It seems everything is under the snow. Trying to call the girl, she doesn't answer. There's no signal. So, they'll have to search another way. The protagonist says that splitting up would be faster, but since there's a monster out there, they'll go together. This monster might be out there and defeat them separately, but not together. The girl has survived 2 months around here. A little longer won't be a problem. They return to the car and continue driving through the college campus until they find a building that isn't buried. Maybe they can access down there through here. According to the GPS, this is the astronomy center of the college. The dorms and cafeteria are north of here. It's not at this location, but if they enter through here, they can walk through the college. However, there's a risk of ice structures collapsing on them, so it's too dangerous to try. Before he finishes saying it's not safe, Chun was there trying to get into the place, and Uncle Yu was pushing him. Lucky for him, he's too big and couldn't get in. Zhang Yi notices a creature approaching. As he points his gun, he discovers it's a giant cat. The monster stood in front of him and didn't attack, even with him pointing a gun at it. Perhaps the creature has some kind of reasoning, said the protagonist. However, when Uncle Yu and the chubby guy returned, the first thing they did was attack the creature. In response, the cat became aggressive and attacked them. With no choice now, Zhang Yi decided he should attack too. With his body reinforcement power, he jumped over the creature and shot it in the head. He landed with great style behind it. Even with the shot, the creature kept advancing. Uncle Yu stood in front of the chubby guy, attacking with his body reinforcement power. A yellow light covered his body. He delivered a powerful punch to the cat's head. Even the ice structures below them were destroyed by the impact. With that, the cat staggered back from the blow, and Zhang Yi watched it, asking if this is a cat that grew up. Using his more powerful precision rifle now, he shoots the cat and wounds its face. The creature, angry, now turns into a ball of fur and rolls toward him. Terrified, Zhang Yi thinks the best alternative would be to make it go into his dimensional storage space. Due to its speed, maybe it would be possible, but the cat, sensing the danger, changed its course and escaped from the dangerous trap and headed toward the snow mountain. It made a loud impact noise and disappeared. Quickly it emerged from another hole and stayed at a distance, looking at them, roaring, as if it were angry. Drawing everyone's attention, the cat showed its backside as if mocking them and left. Uncle and the chubby guy wonder if the cat seemed like it was cursing them, as if it were a human being. They don't understand how the cat could be so big and capable of creating these passages so quickly. The otaku says that if this cat is here hunting like this, there shouldn't be any survivors alive in this school. However, Zhang Yi recounts that the cat, when it approached, wasn't aggressive and didn't seem like it was going to attack. Only after Chun and Uncle Yu attacked did the cat become aggressive. Zhang Yi asserts that this creature must have undergone some kind of mutation that made it giant and somewhat intelligent, because the cat seemed to be aware of its actions. They observe the tunnel it dug and decide to descend through them. If this cat attacks the academy where the students are, following its trail is likely to lead them to where its easier prey reside. At the bottom of the hole, there are several bifurcations, various other holes that lead to places they do not know. They do not know the right path to follow and also run the risk of getting lost. Zhang Yi takes something from his dimensional storage that he can use to mark the path they follow so they can find their way back. They smell blood and decide that's where they should go. Zhang Yi questions if Chun is afraid. They are 3 against just 1 feline. The cat stands no chance. Additionally, he draws his desert eagle from his dimensional storage. This will be an efficient weapon. Uncle Yu, being a former veteran, reconnaisses and appreciates this beauty. Being more experienced, Uncle Yu goes ahead to lead. Back inside the gym, the teacher stands guard, waiting to see if the monster will return. She is exhausted, having not slept for days, to stand guard and fetch food for her students. Even though the teacher seems exhausted, the children complain that the food has run out again. The teacher should go out to look for more food for them. She questions what is better. If she goes out now, the creature might come back and attack. The student's response is that she should go as quickly as possible and try to come back faster with the food. The woman almost loses her patience, but keeps herself under control. She says she will go once more to fetch more food. After she leaves, leaves, they close the door, and everyone is alone again in the sports gym. The teacher outside says that if she encounters this cat, she will fight until they die together. Inside the gym, Karen asks Shinshin if she is okay. She says yes, thanks to her friend. The rich and arrogant student again says that once again, she's being a burden to her friend. Doesn't she ever get tired of being useless? Karen, the friend, tells the arrogant girl that she pushed Shinshin the last time the cat was here, so she owes an apology. Before they start a fight, the cat appears again at the gym window. They only see the paw coming in, and another person is crushed by the creature. The student who said before that he could save everyone runs and pushes another person back to be bait. With another swipe, another person is turned into pulp. While the desperate students flee, once again, the teacher returns to the gym and now has the chance to stick the sword up the cat's butt, but she prefers the head. The creature is wounded, and they start a fight in front of the students. While they were in a frenzied combat draw, the teacher sees 3 people arrive through the cat's escape route. Zhang Yi and his 2 companions arrive behind the tunnel and witness everything unfold. The teacher, noticing their presence, becomes hopeful and shouts for help against this monster. Chun was ready to attack, but Zhang Yi stops him. According to the protagonist, this woman is extremely skilled and managing to hold off the cat with just one sword. She surely is also a mutant with special powers, and at this moment, it's impossible to know if she's an ally or an enemy, so he decides to let the 2 creatures face off, the cat and the woman. Zhang Yi says they won't fight. They'll take another path to find the gym. Uncle Yu, watching from afar, says that this woman is truly dangerous. It wouldn't be wise to approach her. They leave through the tunnel. The woman, not believing they're backing off, shouts for them to help. Together, they can defeat the creature, and they don't care. They go around through another tunnel and manage to enter the gym's entrance. They walk towards the students, and soon, through the wheelchair and the red hair, Zhang Yi realizes who the girl Shinshin is. He says it's lucky she's alive, but before he can reach Shinshin, the boy steps in, asking if he came from the base of the Western Mountain and is a friend of his father. Zhang Yi, serious, questions, what Western Mountain? What place is this? The boy introduces himself. He's the class representative, and his name is Shengyu. He's from a noble family, so he should recognize him. The protagonist simply agrees, and wants to know about this base on the Western Mountain. The clever boy asks, if they're from another base, why are they asking about the base on the Western Mountain? But that would be strange, since the Western base is closer from here. With this statement, Zhang Yi has in mind that there should be other bases around here. He then asks the boy what he knows about the other bases besides the Western Mountain, and the reality is that the boy knows nothing, only what his father said, that these shelters exist. Ignoring the boy, Zhang Yi goes to Shinshin. The other students around, surprised, try to talk to Uncle Yu and the otaku. By the way, what could these girls and boys be asking Uncle Yu? Meanwhile, Zhang Yi finally reaches the wheelchair-bound girl, asking if she's okay and if she's indeed Shinshin. He introduces himself as Zhang Yi and knows her sister Yang Mi very well. She asked him to come and save her, and if Shinshin is willing to go with him. Without much thought, the girl says yes. Then, Zhang Yi prepares to drag her wheelchair and take her with him. However, before going, she says, wait, she wants a favor. He must stop that fight, prevent them from continuing to fight. The protagonist's thought is, he wants this girl to owe him a favor, so making this request would be a way to put her in his debt. If that's the case, Zhang Yi calls Chun and his uncle to do a job. As they head towards this battle, Zhang Yi notices the feline claws scattered around, thinking they could be useful. He stores them in his dimensional vault. Then, following orders, Chun activates his powers and causes the ceiling to collapse on the teacher and the cat, separating them from the fight. It worked, but it leaves the teacher furious. She didn't want the fight to be interrupted, only for them to help eliminate the creature. Ironically, Zhang Yi says she should be thankful for it. However, the teacher points her sword, saying that was the first time she managed to corner the creature, and the 3 of them ruined it. Maybe she won't have another opportunity. Zhang Yi responds that he only wanted to help her, not kill the animal, nothing more. Besides, the protagonist explains that he only did it because one of his students asked him to. Angry, the teacher curses Zhang Yi and attacks. Confidently, he jumps back and shoots her right in the forehead with a desert eagle. However, what he didn't expect was for the woman to cut the bullet from the shot. She's even more powerful than he imagined. As she was about to strike him, Zhang Yi activates his dimensional space power and sucks the woman into his dimension. After completely sucking her in, he falls backward. He is aware that this is very dangerous, telling them not to approach. He spits the woman out of his dimensional storage and is very tired of staying there for just a few seconds. The protagonist mocks her for attacking someone who just helped her and says she's very dangerous and reckless. Zhang Yi takes his sword. For now, it will stay with him. Something that can cut bullets like that is very precious. Give me back my sword. Not a chance. He tells a student to help their teacher rest. She seems very worn out. After helping their teacher, Zhang Yi explains to everyone there that he came here only to take the wheelchair-bound girl as requested for them to retrieve her. The teacher asks why he can't take all the other students as well. The students around Zhang Yi say they're all wealthy and can pay whatever he wants if he takes them safely out of here. Zhang Yi repeats, he can't be responsible for people as important as them. If their families are rich, they'll send people to rescue them. The student who is angry at Shinshin decides this can't stand. She and other students decide to take the girl as a hostage, stating that if they are not taken together, Shinshin will die here. The teacher, frightened, calls them all idiots and reminds them that they are all classmates. Why are they doing this when there is such great great danger outside. Despite the teacher's warning, the students persist. If they are not taken together, no one will leave here. Losing patience with them, the protagonist draws his police pistols and simply shoots down all the students who were holding Shinshin hostage. The teacher is astonished by this reaction. They are just teenagers. Zhang Yi calmly responds that young people who are capable of taking others hostage must accept the consequences of that as well. Zhang Yi's only surprise in this was that Shinshin wasn't at all frightened by what just happened. He goes to her, checks if she's okay, and asks if they can go home now. She answers yes, but only if her friend Karen can go with her too. Zhang Yi thinks about having one more girl to take care of. Why should he? That's what he thought, but he didn't say anything. However, Shinshin notices her savior's gaze and says she would be very useful to him. She is very intelligent. In this academy, there are two types of people: those who are rich and pay to be here and are mostly incompetent, and there are those who enter with scholarships because they are extremely intelligent in their fields. Karen understands everything about mechanics, engineering. She would be perfect for building and fixing things. Curious about this explanation, the girl then pats her chest and says she can do all that indeed. Convinced, the protagonist says it's okay. He takes Shinshin and tells Karen to come with them too. Karen starts showing her proactivity and asserts that she can push her friend along the way herself. The other students around Zhang Yi shout that they are also very competent. They know how to drive luxury cars, manage money, and give orders to employees. The girl who tried to be friendly with Shinshin before steps forward and says that if the monster returns, everyone will be killed here, and if Zhang Yi's group hadn't hindered the teacher earlier, she would have been able to eliminate the creature, so it's their responsibility to secure the students. This statement makes sense, but the conflict-solving machine of a protagonist in his hand says he doesn't care. He's leaving now, even if it takes more ammunition. As they leave, Shinshin says that among all the people, at least teacher Lian was good to her, and so she thanks her for everything. The protagonist then proceeds on his way. The teacher decides to make all the students follow Zhang Yi's group. Chun questions what they are going to do by following them. The protagonist simply replies that if he wants, he can take care of everyone alone. With his powers, he could bring the tunnel down on everyone. The frightened otaku responds that he wouldn't do something like that. Outside, the protagonist doesn't bother hiding his powers and retrieves his car and snowmobile from the dimensional warehouse. Uncle Yu and Chun go by motorcycle, and the rest go by car. He picks the girl up and takes her to the car. With the three of them inside, Zhang Yi accelerates his car and leaves the students behind. The students ask the teacher what they should do now. Outside, the giant cat could attack everyone. At this moment, the wealthy student says that his cell phone finally has a signal. Now he can contact his father. Returning to Zhang Yi and the two girls relaxing in the comfortable car, finally, a little warmth, he takes out water and food from his storage space for them to replenish their energy. Grateful, they accept the meal and say that the brother is amazing. Zhang Yi says it's actually Shinshin who is really amazing. Not understanding this statement, she asks why this praise. They just met. Furthermore, she questions how she could be amazing. She's just a burden to everyone. If it weren't for Karen protecting her, she would never be alive here today. The protagonist rebuts and says it's not quite like that. She really is very intelligent. A wheelchair user surviving for so long isn't luck. For them to have survived in that place was because Shinshin has a secret. Karen doesn't understand this conversation and asks what they are talking about. Shinshin changes expression and acknowledges that Zhang Yi is very smart to deduce that. The protagonist realized that there are many coincidences surrounding the girl, especially related to the monster. While Shinshin maintains a face of admiration, Zhang Yi talks about the girl's request to separate the fight between the cat and the teacher. It was as if she was asking to protect the monster and her teacher at the same time. Why protect the monster that brought terror to everyone? The adorable wheelchair-bound girl acknowledges Zhang Yi's intelligence. He got about 60% of the situation right. However, she's not that malicious. She didn't command the cat to attack anyone. She used to take care of a stray cat before the snow apocalypse happened. Karen, surprised, asks if that little cat they used to feed, Blossom, is this giant monster. The answer is yes. Shinshin thinks that's why the cat never attacked the two girls for real. She always fed and treated it well, so Blossom must recognize Shinshin and her friend. Now Karen understands why they were so lucky. Zhang Yi wants to know if it's just gratitude from the cat towards Shinshin or if there's something more. Because the cat always attacked all the students, but when it encountered the protagonist for the first time, it didn't attack. It seemed like the cat was intelligent. Shinshin once again acknowledges Zhang Yi's intelligence. She admits that she told the cat not to attack people coming from outside the academy, as they would be people coming here to save her. With this statement, Zhang Yi asks again, did she never command the cat to kill others who were mean to her? She replies, no, she would never do such a thing. The cat simply needed to feed, and the only available food was them. But the crazy girl asks if she's too cruel for thinking like that. Mischievously, the protagonist thinks no. He thinks exactly like her. He doesn't care about what happened to the students. Only Shinshin's and now Karen's well-being are important. In this cruel world, only those who have some value can survive. The redhead girl knows she has value to Zhang Yi, and that's why she came here and protected her from everyone. Moreover, now he knows Karen is useful to him too. The protagonist asks why Shinshin only contacted her sister now after a long time, as he makes a sharp turn in the car. Smiling, Shinshin says she never intended to contact her sister because of her. Her goal was Zhang Yi, so she contacted Yang Mi. This confuses him. How How could her goal be someone she didn't know? The girl says she's the best hacker he'll ever know. Even before the apocalypse, she was curious about the Walmart robbery and researched everything about those involved. After the start of the global freeze, she was sure that stock supervisor was responsible. The recently leaked information only confirmed her theory. She used her sister to get him to come save her. Her entire plan was made just with that simple cell phone. She has all the information about what Zhang Yi did before and after the apocalypse. Now she admits she knows everything about the building's extermination. It was easy to access all the security cameras he asked to install. Someone requesting the construction of a fortress made her keep an eye on him. This revelation leaves the protagonist and me startled. This girl decided to monitor him since the news of the Walmart being robbed. She also says that if he hadn't had contact with Zhang Mi or even Zhou Qi, she would have other ways to lure him here to save her, but she's glad he came on his own. Zhang Yi, in his thoughts, convinces himself that this girl is dangerous, so he must be careful. Something strange now is the fact that the little cat Blossom has been following the car since they left. He thinks that if he could tame this cat, he could be even more powerful. Meanwhile, the girls watch the little cat through the window. After driving for a while, they finally reach the refuge. Chun and his uncle also arrive. He rewards the two and tells them they can go back home now. He's going back inside his house. The warm air makes the girls really comfortable. Zhang Yi says that as long as they obey and help, he will help them too. Embarrassed, Shinshin asks if he'll need help with those things too. This question catches him off guard, so he doesn't respond. Karen doesn't even understand the underlying meaning in that question. Zhang Yi then tells the girl she's too young for now. She just needs to do her job as a hacker. Now everyone here is under her responsibility, and that's her only duty here. The protagonist admits that Shinshin is really adorable, but he already has Zhou Qi and Yang Mi to satisfy his desires. However, the young Loli's thoughts are whether he's dismissing the possibility of having her as a woman because she can't move her legs. Before the conversation continues, Zhou Qi comes running to meet her. Right behind her is Yang Mi, who was very worried and didn't know if her sister was okay. Shinshin says she was fine and not in danger. She only contacted her sister because she knew she was with Zhang Yi. It's him she's interested in. While this attention-seeking discussion goes on, the protagonist stands back, enjoying the two sisters vying for his attention. One of the most beautiful women in China and one of the smartest. How can they be so different? The girl's statement piques Zhou Qi's curiosity about how she knows Zhang Yi. She explains everything about how she knew of his existence and introduces Karen, her best friend at the special school, who is a mechanic expert. Yang Mi says she's adorable. The head of the house tells Yang Mi to prepare dinner for everyone and arrange rooms for the new girls. After a while, it was the first hearty feast for the girls after months of difficulty in college. Zhang Yi asks Karen to help in the house. Initially, she thought wrong things. Maybe she didn't mind doing things in that sense. The protagonist asks if she can make weapons and ammunition. To do that, she says she would need the correct materials and machinery. If she has everything, she can do it. Satisfied with the girl's answer, Zhang Yi stands up and tells her to accompany him. He retrieves several mechanical machines and asks her to observe. Impressed that each of these machines would be worth millions of dollars, she lists all the necessary machines. If she needs more things, he can get them. Now only the materials are missing. Zhang Yi says he can help her organize everything, but she says he doesn't need to worry. She can do everything by herself. What kind of weapons could Karen make? He retrieves the teacher's sword from his dimensional warehouse for her to evaluate if she can make others like it. She's impressed with the quality and is honored to touch it. However, she reminds him that this isn't just any weapon. It's an ancient relic and a work of art. She can't replicate it. This sword is so well made that it can even cut diamonds. She returns the sword and explains that Miss Liang was rewarded with this sword for her services as a bodyguard for a very important person in the past. She values this sword more than her own life. This information gives the protagonist ideas for later. Afterward, they return to the dinner table to finish eating. They talk more about what Karen can do in the house. Later, they'll watch television. On the news, an important piece of news is finally told to the population. It is revealed that the cold calamity has no end date and its consequences are not fully known, but it is a fact that a large part of the world's population is no longer alive. In several places around the world, a state of anarchy has been declared, laws no longer apply, and now everything is based on power. Armed groups and organizations use military power to gain control of regions and resources. Meanwhile, Shinshin feels jealous of the two girls around Zhang Yi. She wanted to be there too. Yang Mi then asks Zhang Yi's opinion if this is true. He confirms it and says that military organizations and groups will establish themselves and become his enemies, so the fight for resources will become increasingly intense. Shinshin agrees with everything and says that soon they will enter a period of great wars for territory and resources. This place will become a target for other people sooner or later. Because of this, Zhang Yi promptly takes the girl to where the supercomputer is. With this, she can control everything here, and with unlimited access to the internet, she can make magic happen. In a few moments, she's already getting familiar with the system and starts typing like crazy on the keyboard in front of her. When she finally finishes analyzing the system, Zhang Yi asks what she thinks. The security system was the best there was 10 years ago. It is still very powerful, but very outdated, even though it was impenetrable decades ago. Today a hacker can exploit vulnerabilities in this system and gain access to it. She says that several invasions of the system have been made in recent weeks. She estimates that in just one more month, they could have taken over the entire security system of the house. With this information, Zhang Yi is certain that the best choice he made was to take risks and go after this girl. He asks if she can remove these vulnerabilities that exist in the network. She says it's easy. In just a few minutes, she can solve all these vulnerabilities. In a few minutes, Xinshin claims it's done. Zhang Yi recognizes her talent once again and says that Xinshin is brilliant. Satisfied, the girl says that now is the time to counterattack. She herself will hack the network of those who tried to attack the internal network of this mansion. He questions if this isn't a risk. She can't leave traces behind. Xinshin replies that amateurs can be traced. She's not an amateur. Zhang Yi was increasingly pleased with the girl until Zhou Qi appears and says they have a problem. A monster is at the doorstep. The giant monster is the giant cat. The protagonist, already knowing what it is, asks Xinshin what they should do. The cat must really like her and is here because it's concerned about Xinshin's safety. If that's the case, Zhang Yi says their goal now is to tame this creature. He takes Xinshin out of the security room. The protagonist calms the girls, and Xinshin goes to the window where the little kitty is. Sensing the cat is calm, the protagonist grabs Xinshin and says they're going out now to feed the cat personally. They approach, and the kitty remains calm. However, when Zhang Yi gets too close, it opens its eyes with a threatening tone. He tries to negotiate with the monstrous cat, using food from his dimensional warehouse. He tries to say that if she's a good kitty, she can have this. The kitty seems to ponder this and refuses to take the food. Xinshin reminds that the kitty is a street cat. Street cats are the most suspicious animals in the world. That's not how he's going to earn the kitty's trust. The protagonist then hands over the food and says that if the kitty promises not to attack the village on the other side, she can have the food. The smart kitty seems to understand. She agrees to eat the food and won't eat any humans from the village on the other side of the frozen lake. After this agreement is made, he returns with Xinshin to the house, and then Zhou says something impressive happened. The little kitty simply shrank in size. This means she didn't become giant with the mutation. She gained the ability to become large with the mutation. This also helps them understand how a giant cat managed to feed by eating a few students in the academy. Obviously, she would shrink to eat. Additionally, Xinshin says this also explains the fact that the kitty could suddenly disappear, and not even the teacher could find her. Besides appearing without anyone noticing such a large cat approaching, Zhang Yi, observing the kitty, realizes she's injured from the fight, but she doesn't seem to care. Nonetheless, he says he'll try to administer medicine to try to gain the kitty's trust later. When night falls, the two girls go to sleep in their room. Karen says it feels like a dream. This morning they were cold and hungry at college. Tonight, they're in such a comfortable place, in a very cozy bed, with their bellies full of food. Embarrassed, Xinshin says, all this is thanks to Zhang Yi. Besides, he's very smart and resourceful. Being by his side is the safest place there is currently. She says they need more weapons and further strengthen the bunker, while they talk and brainstorm about what they could do to further improve their home. The night passes. The next day, very early in the morning, Karen goes to show her ideas to the protagonist and says she can do anything he wants. While in this mansion, everyone is happy and experiencing great pleasures. Those people left behind at college. The richest student managed to get in touch with his father, but the others couldn't contact anyone. Their families probably didn't survive. At least the monster cat didn't attack again. The boy asked his father to rescue everyone, and after waiting a few hours, this really happens. They heard noise and ran outside to see who had arrived. A group of people in a cart pulled by wolves had appeared. The teacher recognized them as military personnel with excellent cold weather equipment. The boy asks if they came on his father's orders. The men talk among themselves until finally, one man takes off his helmet. It was the boy's father. The boy was surprised because his father, who was once fat, was now thin and haggard. He hugged his father. He asks why his father took so long to come rescue him. Before his father can explain anything, the men ask where the supplies of this school are, because they know there must be many supplies stored here. The teacher finds this strange. The first thing they ask about is the supplies in the school. The boy reveals without hesitation that the frozen school market has many supplies, but there's a giant monster lurking around. The man says that's not a problem. They'll defeat any creature that appears, but the boy has to go along to show them the way. Upon hearing this, the kid didn't think twice about passing the responsibility to the teacher. He doesn't know anything, and she can go with them. Anticipating this scenario, the teacher says she can lead the soldiers to the supply location. The soldiers all went to where the supplies were, then they returned and called the students. They had to help carry the supplies, and everyone rushed to obey the military orders. After a while, they were bringing in all the supply boxes that were stored in the market. After much effort, the students brought everything. Then the wealthiest student boasted, saying it was his father who saved everyone. However, when all the supplies were taken, the soldiers left. The students were terrified and asked how they were going to be taken together to the base. The soldiers said they would run. They complained about why there wasn't transportation for them as well. Another student said it's over 10 kilometers to the base. The soldier made it clear that whoever complains again will be treated as a deserter and will receive punishment. They must shut up and follow whoever they can. The teacher took out a bag of chocolate, gave one to each of the students who were already exhausted, and with that, they walked until nightfall and reached the base at the foot of the mountain. They were ordered to enter the base, descending the stairs. The place was very large and technological, and there was no one there. The teacher tried to keep everyone calm, and soon after, a group of soldiers in sealed suits arrived and applied gas to them. After that, a slightly greedy woman introduced herself and asked them to cooperate. This is just a disinfection.
Subscribe for next episode.